How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys Alex and Ryan. So we got a big series against the Houston Astros tonight. A couple of really good updates for you guys in terms of injury. Gerrit Cole making some really good progress. A couple days ago, he tossed 15 pitches off the mound. 89 miles an hour on his fastball. All 15 pitches were fastballs. So you love to see that. Good progress there. There's going to be a big question we have to ask ourselves, Ryan, in a couple months here. Who is the odd man out in this rotation? I just don't know how you move Luis Gil out of this rotation right now. It's going to be one of those things that it's going to be fun to discuss when the time does come. But for now, we just kind of wait patiently for Gerrit Cole to make his return. He's doing really, really well. The expectation is at some point in June. I'm not going to sit here and tell you early June because I just don't know. But mid to late June is probably more so what I feel as though is realistic, just because the Yankees want to give him as much time as possible to work his way back at his own pace and not risk any, re-injury. And then, of course, we're talking about John Birdie returning to the lineup today, and well, rather 2 days ago. And then Oswald Peraza being starting a rehab assignment as well, and then Oswaldo Cabrera not in the lineup today after playing first base to give Anthony Rizzo a day off. So a lot of different changes going on right now. This Yankee team is getting healthier. DJ LeMahieu was moving laterally, taking some ground balls at third base today at Yankee Stadium. So you'd love to see that. I think Cole was going into another bullpen session today as well. He was seen going into the bullpen. So that's a really good sign. Ryan, how are you feeling right now about Cole's progress, this rotation, kind of supplementing his loss early on this season, and the impact of his return obviously is going to be tremendous?
Yeah, there's nothing you can say about Gerrit Cole that I feel like overestimates his value or overstates the impact he has on the rotation. Obviously, when the off-field impact, and that hasn't been affected. Gerrit Cole's been with the team, and, that's a kind of a caps off to Gerrit Cole because, hats off to Gerrit Cole because, you're not required to be with the team during certain stages of rehab, and yet he is, and he's, been a great mentor, and he's been with the guys, and, I'm sure he's a great presence talking to various pitchers on that team. Obviously, the respect he garners as one of the top pitchers in baseball, and one of the brightest minds in baseball. He's not only just, a pitching savant, but, he's also part of the Players Association. He's heavily involved in labor disputes and stuff of that nature. So we're talking about a guy who has a ton of respect from the players, a guy who the players have often chosen to represent them. So, we're talking about a real leader. Like, we're talking about a genuine, like a true, like a guy, kind of like how CeCe was for us for a while, where he was such a leader for this clubhouse. Gerrit Cole kind of has that same nature to him now that he's such a veteran and has accomplished so much at the major league level. The performance on the field, right? Like, that's its whole. There's, you could say a million different things about it. He is the best pitcher in baseball, in my opinion, when healthy. I think the only guys who can really compete with him are guys like Corbin Burns, Zach Wheeler, the Spencer Striders of the world. These guys who are supposed to go out there and win the Cy Young whenever they're on the mound, or contend for one, or shut down a lineup, or you kind of set the expectation at, you're either blanking another team or it's not good enough, right? Spencer Strider, for example, gave up like 2 runs in his NLDS start. And you know what? He'll tell you that was a disappointment because 2 runs over 6 innings isn't good enough. For Gerrit Cole, the bar, the standard, it's just higher than everybody else's because he's so damn good. We saw last year, it was just with precision, with ease. It felt like every single outing, it was just this easy, free-flowing, just dominance of a team. The final outing he had of the year, where he just blanked the Blue Jays for 9 innings, just precision, right? It's surgical, right? Surgical is the right term for it. He is an unbelievable pitcher, and of course, getting him back would be massive. And you talk about like the rotation situation. I kind of view it as just when Gerrit Cole comes back, my rotation gets better, and my bullpen gets better. Because I don't know who's getting moved to the bullpen, but whoever it is going to be somebody who greatly impacts the bullpen. You kind of imagine it's Luis Gil because of the innings limit, although you could argue he is the most talented guy on this pitching staff, or the second most. I don't know. He's definitely in that top 2. And if you have Luis Gil out of the bullpen, kind of firing some big time innings for you, could you imagine going from like Luis Gil to like Clay Holmes in one game? Could you imagine Gerrit Cole 7 innings, Luis Gil 1 inning, Clay Holmes to close it out? Alex, I think the Yankees would throw. I think that would be a shutout. I don't think anybody's scoring on that trio of arms. So the Yankees can certainly get creative there. Maybe Clark Schmidt profiles more for a reliever role. Again, I have no idea what they do, but I would just guess it's Luis Gil because of the innings stuff. But yeah, obviously you can't understate his value. And then you have some other guys who are on the way who are depth pieces, and getting depth and getting some insurance across your roster is super important. It just makes it that much better. And Alex, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, depth is almost kind of, it's such an important part of your roster. And oftentimes, especially with the Yankees in recent years, it's gotten overlooked.
It absolutely has. I mean, look, this Yankee team is going to get healthier. The way they view it right now is you're going to get three key bullpen arms back around the trade deadline, probably earlier for Tommy Kahnle, but Scott Efros and Lou Trevino hopefully returning around then. So they see that as like last year's Keenan Middleton. And I kind of feel as though this bullpen already is one of the best, if not the best in the game, despite the fact they're really running with a lot of fringe roster arms for most teams, like Dennis Santana and Victor Gonzalez. There's a lot of pitchers that may not be starting on other teams, but the Yankees managed to find value by guys that nobody seems to look for, which is what makes Matt Blake so special and so intricate to this equation. But talking about, the infield transitioning just for a couple minutes here, Jon Berti returns from that groin injury, and Jon Berti's a good player. He is a very, very good defensive player, and last year he was excellent offensively as well. I wouldn't say excellent, but I say slightly above average. And for considering what we've had at third base in the past couple of seasons, I say that's pretty good. Josh Donaldson obviously was not what we hoped he would be. In fact, he was more of a distraction, a liability than anything else. Jon Berti is quiet, athletic. He stole 41 bags in 2022. He ranks in the 94th percentile in sprint speed. You love to see that, right? Jon Berti can make an impact for you in a number of different ways. Now, I'll ask you this, Ryan. When DJ LeMahieu comes back, he's your starting third baseman, right? Like, the Yankees are putting him at third base, and then you have Jon Berti as your supplementary option. He can play pretty much every position. He even has a lot of experience. Not a lot, I'd say 570 innings worth of experience in the outfield too. I don't think they'll ever use him there, but last resort, worst comes to worst, you could put him in the outfield. How do you view Oswaldo Cabrera's role developing once DJ LeMahieu gets healthy? They have Jon Berti. I just don't see a way for Oswaldo Cabrera to get a significant amount of reps. I think they would prefer Jon Berti. He is starting today on Tuesday. If you're watching this on another day, I don't know if this is a way to give Cabrera a day off or this is Jon Berti's job at third base to lose. How do you view the progression on the hot corner right now in the role of Berti, DJ LeMahieu, who, again, taking ground balls today, getting a little bit closer inch by inch, and then Oswaldo Cabrera, who's been inconsistent, a little bit poor offensively, defensively at times, volatile offensively. Some days have a great day, some days will be non-existent. How do you view the roles developing here?
Yeah, it is a little bit interesting that they're throwing Berti out there because it's not a lefty on the mound; it's a righty, and Cabrera has done really well against right-handed pitching. But I think something the Yankees have noticed, and look, I know that people don't want to hear this, right? Because it's like, who cares about this stuff to some people? But when you're an organization, you absolutely have to care about these things. It is important to note that right-handed hitters have had a 1.35 and a 1.33 home run per nine against Verlander over the last 2 years. Righties have performed better against Verlander for the last 2 years, and by a pretty significant margin. They're slugging a good bit against Verlander, and I'm not saying this to say Verlander's washed, Verlander sucks, or anything of the sort. Verlander is still Justin Verlander, and even in his advanced age, right? Like last year, put up, I believe, a 3.41 ERA, a 3.22 ERA, on a 3.85 FIP. This year, a 2.08 ERA. He is just, he's just a workhorse, right? This guy is just a master of his craft. He is, there's a reason he's a Hall of Famer. There's a reason, no one's questioning whether he'll go down as one of the greatest pitchers to ever grace a baseball field. But I think it is important to note that the Yankees are kind of trying out these matchups and kind of seeing, how they can get platoon advantages in positions like third base or catcher where, let's face it, they're not the most offensively talented right now. Wells is still finding his footing a little bit, and he's had some good at-bats, but not all of them have converted into hits. Trevino has actually had a pretty good start to his year, but you kind of expect him to cool off because we've seen this song and dance before. 2022 got off to a super hot start, cooled off, right? Like, he's just not a good hitter, and I think that's kind of something we just have to accept, and that's okay. He's never been a good hitter. He can be an 85 WRC plus hitter, and his defense is so good, it's valuable. And then looking at like the offense as a whole, right? It's not as if you're looking at this Yankee team and saying they're the most dominant offense in the world. They're just kind of inconsistent. They're not bad. They're just inconsistent. One day they'll roll out of bed and drop like 7 or 8 runs, and then the next they're scoring 1, and you're just like, you're just kind of scratching your head going, what the hell's going on here? Maybe Aaron Judge waking up, that can help him a little bit. I know Verlander has a very good track record against the Yankees, and that goes into that matchup as well. But when we're looking at Jon Berti, we're looking at the Yankees as a whole. Berti, as you mentioned, great defender, versatile, plays all over the infield, probably won't play the outfield, but again, it's notable he can play it. Maybe in a pinch they throw him out there. But value, there's value in versatility. There's value in, the ability to play all over the diamond. There's value in speed. There's value in contact. He's kind of a perfect bench player. With Oswald Peraza starting his rehab assignment, I think him starting in single A means he's going to go to triple A. Oscar Gonzalez rehabbed in single A and then went up to triple A. That's kind of what I think they're going to just do here. I don't foresee Oswald Peraza joining the team at the major league level. And yeah, like, obviously some of the bullpen arms you could be getting back soon. Canley's supposed to start his rehab assignment on Wednesday in Single A. Alex, I mean, personally, I'm just excited to kind of see where the bullpen arms are progressing. Not a slight Peraza, but I just don't think he's playing much this year. Look at the bullpen arms, though. I mean, this bullpen's already the best in baseball in terms of ERA, win probability added. Like, they're really good at what they do. Could you imagine what this bullpen is when they get, like, 2 or 3 of some key contributors back who are pitching high-leverage situations this year or last year? They could be scary, man.
Absolutely can be. So we'll see how this team progresses in terms of the health categories. But guys, always happy to hear your thoughts below in the YouTube comment section. Make sure to like and subscribe as always. We'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.
Perfect.